What should I reverse? Okay, and on the next line, well, I need to store input, so I need another variable. I can't use answer, I can't use parrot answer, so I'm going to call one called reverse answer. Reverse answer equals input. What phrase should be reversed? I remember I need the bracket on the end. Okay, so this is going to be identical to the parrot command, but with one key difference. And that is we need to reverse whatever it is that the user types in. So I'm going to say speech.say, reverse answer. But then before closing off the bracket, I'm going to write a interesting bit of code. I'm going to write square bracket, colon, colon, -1, and then the close square bracket. So what does this do? Well, if you remember back 2 weeks ago, I said that anything that is scaled by -1 flips it around. I did this in GameFruit. Remember, we were trying to get the character to turn around in GameFruit? Well, in Python, this is how you get a string to turn around. We're scaling it by -1. So that should reverse whatever I type in. So I'm going to put a close bracket there. How can we be sure, though? We can hear what the robot is saying, but we can't see anything. So to be extra doubly sure that it's reversing correctly, on the next line, I'm going to write print, open bracket, and then I'm going to write the same thing again. So reverse answer, square bracket, colon, colon, -1, close square bracket, close rounded bracket. Okay, let's see if this works. Let's click play.
What would you like to do next?
What would I like to do next? Well, I would like to... Let's do the reverse command. Let's click OK.
What should I reverse?
What should I reverse? Let's have... Hello. My name is Jack. Let's click OK.
Yes, I am admin. Ale, what would you like to do next?
There we are. It said it backwards. Catch see eman in ole. Let's try that again.
What should I reverse?
What should I write? What should I write? Let's try a palindrome, a word that is reversed, is spelt the same backwards as it is forward. So let's have madam.
Madam, what would you like to do next?
So it's reversed it, but it's a palindrome, so it is exactly the same as it was forwards as it was backwards. Okay, let's exit out of that.
Okay.
Let's close that. So we've now got a reverse command. So every time I do that, it will reverse things for us. So we've got say hi, we've got parrot, we've got reverse. These are all fun little commands, but it's not very useful. Now, what's the most common use of speech assistants other than ordering stuff on Amazon or checking emails or that kind of thing? It's possible to do that in Python, but it's a little bit too involved for anything that we're going to do today. But what else gets used? Well, another thing is, of course, telling the time. You know, quite often I could go, "Hey Siri, what is the time?"
It's 12:03.
There we are. That's Siri on my computer. Now, let's have it so that the one that we build ourselves does exactly the same thing. So, this is a new command. So I need to press enter, backspace, backspace, and enter again. And I need to write a new else if statement. So if answer equals equals. Now what's the command going to be? What should the user type in to get the time? Well, they're going to type in a question. They're going to ask, what is the time? And now this is an elif statement, so it needs a colon at the end. And I can ask, hang on, how do I get the time? That's an interesting one. Well, to get the time, I need to use a new library that gets the time. So we've been using speech. This is the speech library. We now need to use the datetime library. And the datetime library gets the date and the time. That's why it's called the datetime library. So I need to move off this now and go to the very start of my program, go to the second line and say from datetime import date time. So we're still importing the library, but the datetime library is so huge that we need to be specific in that we only want the date and the time. So second line of the program, from datetime import datetime. Okay, now I can go back, and now that we've imported datetime, I can actually start using datetime. So what do I need to do? I need to be able to store what is the current time. So let's create a variable. Let's call it current time. I can say current time equals date time dot now. Okay. If I do that, then it'll get the date as well. And I don't want the date, I just want the time. So instead of datetime.now, I can say datetime.now, open bracket, close bracket, dot time, open bracket, close bracket. So now we've got the current time. This should be the current time wherever you are in the world. So on the next line, I can actually get my robot to say this out. I can say speech.say. Now there's a slight issue here. Speech.say will only allow you to write strings. But at the moment, current time is not a string. It's a time. It's a date. It's a series of numbers, so we need to be able to convert it into a string. So I'm going to have open bracket, and I'm going to have it say the time now is, and now we need a close speech mark because we're putting two things together, and we want a plus because we're jamming current time into the sentence that says the time now is. But I need to make sure that current time is a string, and to convert it into a string from a series of numbers, I need to type in str, open bracket, and then current time, close bracket. Are we done? No. We need to count the brackets, make sure we've worked things out. So speech.say, we've got one open bracket, and we've got two open brackets, and we've got one close bracket. So that means we're missing a close bracket. Every open bracket must have a close bracket at some point in the program. So at the end, I'm going to have a close bracket. So in full, speech.say, open bracket, speech mark. The time now is space, speech mark, plus str, open bracket, the name of my variable, close bracket, close bracket. Okay. Before we do that, what happens if you're trying to listen for the time, but you can't understand what he says? We should probably print this out as well, just so we can see it on screen, see what's happening. So on the next line, I'm going to write print. What am I going to say? Well, I want to print the current time. Print also only likes a string. So print str current time, close bracket, close bracket. Right, let's check. Let's press play.
What would you like to do next?
Okay, so what is the time? Press OK.
The time now is 1209.23.8120000. What would you like to do next?
Okay, so there's a lot to unpack there, but here we are. Here's the current time. This is what the computer said. So it said 12, except it didn't say 12, it said 1209, so 9 minutes past 12. But more than that is 23 seconds past 9 minutes. So it's 9 minutes and 23 seconds past 12. But computers are so precise that they have fractions of a second. So it's 23.812 seconds past 9 minutes past 12. So, yeah, it's a little bit overly precise, but it's the time. And yeah, let's leave it at that. So I'm going to type in exit. And of course it replies good B as well, because I don't know. It's nice for speech assistants to have a little bit of character, even if it means spelling and saying things the wrong way. Okay. So we've got the time, we've got reverse, we've got parrot, we've got say hi. One thing that speech assistants do a lot is they like to use your name. Now, there used to be a very funny thing with Siri, in that you'd ask Siri to call you a name, and of course it was fun to get it to call you some really silly names. But what people didn't realise is that if you ask Siri to call you a name, it would add that at the end of any emails you sent. So someone would be there and they say, okay Siri, my name is now I hate my job, for example. But then they'd send an email to their boss and didn't realise that Siri had stuck that at the end. It would say, signed, I hate my job. And of course people said a lot of things that are a lot ruder than that. But it's useful to set names, just so that we know what, the robot has a little bit more personality. It acts as if it knows you. So I need to be able to store whatever my name is. So I'm going to need a variable, and this variable needs to apply to the whole page. So I'm going to write this at the top. So underneath, once exit equals false, I'm going to write, I need a variable to store my name. So it needs a sensible name, like my name equals. Now, any piece of text is a string, so it needs the speech marks. My name equals Jack. Okay. So now I have that variable. I can start using it. I can start using it anywhere in the program. So For example, when we first enter our loop, I could say, sorry, my robot says, what would you like to do next? Why not make it a little bit more personal? Why not have it say, what would you like to do next, Jack? So at the end of that, after the speech mark, but before I close the bracket, I'm going to have plus, and then whatever the variable is. And the variable is my name. Okay, let's see if it works. Now, bear in mind, it doesn't really pronounce my name very well. Let's click play.
What would you like to do next?
There you are. It asked me, and it felt personal because it knew who I was. What would you like to do next, Jack?
Turkey.
There we are. So we can get it to choose. We can get it to use our name, but what happens if we want to change our name? Well, we need a new command that allows us to change our name. So underneath what is the time command, I'm going to press enter, backspace, and enter again. Elif answer equals change my name. And then I need a colon. Okay, so what can I have? Well, I could have speech.say what would you like your new name to be? Now, of course, this is going to require user input. So, as before, we need a new variable. So we're going to say name answer equals input and write your new name here. Okay. So we've got the name answer. Now we need to rewrite my name. We need to reset it. So at the moment we set it to be Jack at the start. I want to reset it down here. So underneath here, I'm going to say my name is now equal to name answer. I've now updated my name. So before it was Jack, and then after this line, it becomes whatever the user types in. And now we need the computer to say that. So speech.say. What should they say? Well, they should greet you. They should say, hello, space, plus my name. Okay. Let's see if that works. Let's press play.
What would you like to do next?
What would I like to do next? I would like to change my name. Let's press OK.
What would you like your new name to be?
What would I like my new name to be? I want to be known as Your Excellency.
Hello, Your Excellency, and what would you like to do next? Your Excellency.
There we are. I get to feel grand like an emperor. Or if I wanted something a little bit more subtle. So change my name.
What would you like your new name to be?
What would I like? Let's say I change my name to Myrtle.
Hello, Myrtle, what would you like to do next? Myrtle.
There we are. Let's exit that.
Turkey.
And let's close that. Okay, so far we've looked at several commands. Now, as I've shown you, it's very easy to add new commands onto this. All we have to do is we have to write a new elif statement. So elif answer equals equals, and then whatever you want that command to be. So you could have things like tell me a joke. You could have things like what is the date? That's an interesting one because we've already done what is the time. So think about what you need to do to change what is the time to become what is the date. What else can we do? Well, we can do anything that Python would do. So if you're familiar with Python Turtle, which I thoroughly recommend, and if you check on the TechnoCamp's website, you can find lots of activity packs that tell you about Python Turtle. But with Python Turtle, we could actually integrate the speech assistant part of it with the turtle part, so we could give our turtle instructions. But these are all extra little things. I'm always willing to help, help you find out more about these, or implement them, or actually program them yourselves. Or if you don't know how to do something, I'm there to help you figure it out and give you some guidance. You can always come talk to us on Discord or in the chat function of wherever you're watching this now, if that's available, if we're currently streaming, or you can get in contact through the TechnoCamp's website, and we're always there to help you explore new things that you can do with programs like this and all the fun that can be had with it. Anyway, that's it from me today. I hope you enjoyed. And what can I do? Let's finish up. Let's get our computer to say okay, with a final word from the computer.
Thanks for listening. Goodbye.